Hello, my name is Matt Smith. I'm a regional sales manager for E-PAK Machinery. This is an E-PAK Machinery 6-head pressure gravity filler. This particular unit serves two filling requirements. It can either be used as a gravity filling machine when filling water-thin products, or we can also pressurize the filler hopper when there are semi-viscous products that need to be filled. Changing from only gravity to utilizing pressure is done by pressing a button on the touch screen. We manufacture these fillers at our facility and only use the best components. Within our control panels, we use Allen Bradley PLCs. Our touch screens are manufactured by Maple Systems. Most of our pneumatic components are manufactured by SMC. All very good, very reliable names in the industry. We write all of the programs in-house. We build and wire all panels in-house. We manufacture all of our own frames, whether made of stainless steel or plastic. This particular filler requires both air and electricity to operate. Typical air pressure required is between 80 and 100 pounds. Typical electricity required for this filler is 115 volts. Starting at the top of the filler, you'll see the standard round tank. It holds about 15 gallons of product. There's a 2-ball mechanical float in the tank. The lowest ball, or the main float, is the float that comes in contact with your product all the time. There is also a backup float that sits above the main float. If the main float were to get stuck, the product level would overtake the main float and come in contact with the backup float. If this were to happen, the HMI would then have a banner scrolling across it to let you know that the main float has failed and the backup float is in use. We utilize the float system for two reasons. Number one, the flow controls automatic check valves that are on the back of the filler, which open and close automatically to allow your product feed system to replenish the tank when necessary. The float maintains a constant amount of head pressure in the tank. This is especially important when using the gravity option on the filler. That's number two. You must make sure that head pressure stays constant all of the time in order for the fill levels to remain accurate. We also produce a trough style filler hopper that is horseshoe shaped in design. This particular tank holds more product when needed. Moving down the filler, you'll see the hoses that connect the filler hopper to the fill heads. We can provide different types of product delivery hoses based on the type of product that you intend on using in the machine. We will confirm the chemical compatibility between your products and our components at the onset of providing you with a budgetary quote for a filler. This also holds true for the fill heads that we utilize. We can typically accommodate up to 16 fill heads when necessary. There are several types of fill heads that we have the ability of incorporating into the design of your machine. Many applications can use our automated ball valves with the socket type gooseneck fittings that are used as the nozzle tips. These are an example. We have different diameters of openings on the gooseneck style fill head nozzles. The diameter of the tip that we use will depend on the diameter of the opening in your container. You are not limited to only one size of nozzle tip. They can be easily changed based on the application. We also offer several types of fill heads. These would include shower style fill heads, internal bottom closed fill heads like this, and external bottom closed fill heads, to name a few. The filler has an automatic drip tray. It extends automatically when the filling process has completed and remains extended until the full set of containers has exited the filling zone and the empty set of containers has entered the filling zone. This is the fill zone. Once the empty containers have stopped under the fill heads, the drip tray will automatically retract so the fill heads can dispense your product into your containers. We have several different options that are available when required. This filler can be equipped with diving heads. Typically, this is when we would use either the interior or exterior bottom closed nozzles. We would dive into the containers to do what we call a bottom up or subsurface fill. The heads would dive into the lowest point of the containers and then begin to dispense product. As the product level in the containers rise, we have the fill heads rise as well. This maximizes the efficiency of the filling cycle. When diving into the bottles, especially, or whenever deemed necessary, we equip the filler with container locators. This is an automatic function as well. When the filler is equipped with container locators, the bottles will enter the fill zone and stop in their positions to be filled. Prior to being filled, the container locators will extend around the necks of the bottles to ensure that there is proper alignment between the fill head and the opening of the container. We can also equip the filler with a capacitive proximity sensor if needed that will automatically close the fill heads when the product level meets the sensor. We can provide you with different types of container indexing as well. Typical indexing options are pin indexing, which would involve an entry gate and an exit gate air cylinder. We also make star wheels and feed screws when necessary. This filler can also be equipped with a slide track, which is basically just a stainless steel table that the operator can slide the bottles across when the fill cycle is completed. This will be used when the operation is more manual. We can build the filler completely sanitary for food grade applications. For applications that will be used when filling acids or caustics, we manufacture the entire filler out of plastic. When required, we can make the frame of the filler out of stainless and just have the wetted parts that are compatible with your product. The hoses can be made of Teflon or PVC, to name a couple. The seals and gaskets can be made of Teflon, Viton, Buda, EPDM, or Calres, to name a few. We can utilize 304 stainless, 316 stainless, poly, or we can also powder coat certain pieces of the machine, all based on your needs. When you have a need for a replacement part for your machine, our spare parts room is fully stocked and ready to provide you with what you need, typically within one business day. We also provide a no-cost 24/7 technical support, and the majority of the issues can typically be resolved with either a video conference or a quick phone call. Thank you for your interest in the E-PAK machinery pressure gravity filler.